Make sure my mic's working. Before we hop into this. It is. Alright, everybody, it's OG King's Game. The one and only. Uh, this has been a long awaited game. I've talked about it on several different occasions. I played some, y'all, so just, it is what it is. You missed like 2 chapters. But yeah, it's Autopsy Simulator. Let's hop into this. This has been on my wish list for coming up on a year, if not more.
Oh, God. Why do I like sleeping so much? Huh?
Oh, that ain't gonna do y'all justice. Hold on, that ain't gonna do y'all justice.
Good afternoon.
Isn't it a bit early for you?
I missed our invigorating conversations. Has Stephen brought the body?
Yeah, the trolley's in the hall. Maybe wheeling it to the dissection room will be invigorating enough for you.
Huh. I've missed how friendly and helpful you are. I think I'll get straight to work on this one. Focusing on something will do me some good.
Ooh, I almost forgot one more thing. Can't y'all getting me
Christ, this one's heavy. Hey, Mr. Ridley, I need help. I can't lift this bag myself. Ridley! Ugh, wasn't easy, but at least I can start. A new package must have arrived. I guess Dorothy ordered it. I think I'll skip recording a video for the students today. They don't need to see me and the body. Ugh. November 27th, 1991, 5:14 p.m. Conducted by Dr. Jack Hanman. James Evans Jr., also known as Jesse. Age about 30. Evans had previously been convicted of possession of stolen goods, robberies, and drug trafficking. There were also attempts to accuse him of leading a criminal group responsible for burglaries in the New Orleans area. What? Burglaries in the New Orleans area? This is... It's a rather strange coincidence. Police photos show that the body was not even particularly hidden, but only covered with a thin layer of soil, branches, and leaves. The body was found naked and mutilated. Clothes, probably belonging to the deceased, were found lying nearby. The body was found inadvertently in the woods near Peetsville. The dogs picked up the scent while searching for a missing boy. The deceased's father, James Evans Sr., is a local businessman. He was the one who reported the disappearance. At the time of the report, his son hadn't been home for 3 days. Sounds disturbing. I wonder what condition the body is in then. I'll start by opening the bag. Oh, fuck. I didn't expect this level of mutilation. This is going to be a dirty job. I'll check through the bag the police left. Maybe there will be something worth noting about the victim's clothes. Leather belt, plain cotton t-shirt, classic jeans. Well, certainly not my style. Traces of blood and plasma. It could have been used to stop or reduce bleeding. Is this? Interesting.
Yeah,
Most of the blood is visible around the neckline. Something's stuck here. It looks like some kind of, mainly traces of soil. It's a bit like the perpetrator's pulled his shirt over his head. The bloodstains don't appear to be related to any injuries on the body. The deceased must have been unclothed before he was injured. Traces of dirt mixed with blood and rubbed leaf litter. Evans must have been crawling, or was dragged along the ground. A letter, engraved with the police insignia. Stolen? Or maybe purchased from a pawn shop? It looks somehow... it's probably a coincidence.
That belt looked hollow though. Like, oh, that ain't necessary.
Oh, you can push it? After all, what else could I expect? Weird. Someone obviously didn't want to put in the work. These clothes haven't been thoroughly searched.
Not that button. Pick it back up.
And here... another animal souvenir. It looks different than the previous one. The only thing I can tell from the clothes is that before his death, Evans had either put up quite a fight, or the attackers simply dragged him along the ground for a long distance. In turn, and this is certainly strange, the injuries themselves were inflicted only when he was naked. Okay, I'll take a look at the scales. They seem too different. Dorothy once brought an animal encyclopedia here. She performed an autopsy on an exotic animal smuggler. The guy suffered an accident while transporting illegal animals. Not only were the police needed on site, but it took nearly a day to round up his cargo. Dorothy had a hard time with that case. Did the impact kill him? Or did one of the animals he was transporting do him in? They even talked about it on the news. People were terrified that some reptile would just come out of their can and grab him. Okay, the book.
Well, got some issues. That's this lap. Oh my God.
Who is this?
Closed doors behind us.
All right. Which page was it? Local what? Not this area, but who knows? Nile crocodile. Nah, this one here looks more like a handbag. How it... doesn't seem to be fake.
So,
What kind is this? Ah, salt. Oh, yes. This turtle turned out to be a killer. He ripped off the guy's... No, that's not it. Nah, this one here looks more like a handbag. Well, this scale makes more sense than the previous one. How did it end up here? So, either someone donned in crocodile products was around the deceased, or one of them attacked him. I'll examine the body and take photos. If an animal attacked him, there'll be traces. Ugh, Christ. Why am I so tired? Some coffee would be nice. Oh, what was I supposed to... Ah, the pictures. I'll have to show them to Dorothy. Too bad that we no longer keep our ranking. With something like that, I would come out on top. There hasn't been a case like this for a long, long time.
He is a talker.
Alright, I'll begin. The deceased's skin is smooth and taut. This suggests an advanced stage of decomposition of the corpse. This wound appears to have been made by a sharp instrument. It's unlikely that a human would make such a wound. Nasty. Interesting. This needs to be investigated further. Such a wound could not have occurred during the victim's lifetime. There are also clear traces of the deceased's ankles being bound in some way.
Ankles come hands.
Oh, and as expected, there's a bite. Evans couldn't have tied himself up like that. It looks like some sort of attack or kidnapping.
Yeah.
No head. That's not hard to miss. I need to gather my thoughts together. And look at these photos. It seems that this case will have to be divided into several threads. Like torn meat. But I can't tell from the photo what animal did this. The work of animals can be seen here. The question is which ones. I wonder whether the decapitation took place before or after death. To check. I should inspect these areas with a magnifying glass first. This looks very promising. The bite is clearly visible. It should be easy to compare with the encyclopedia and identify the culprit. It'll be faster than physically measuring the bite. I hope I put it in right. I can never remember whether it was image up or image down. At university... fantastic. Just some tracing paper, a pencil, and I can check these in the encyclopedia.
Tracing paper from in your office.
Now, did I leave them in a drawer? Or maybe a box somewhere? Ugh. I don't remember if I left them out somewhere.
I was gonna use. I don't know why. Sooner or later there's gonna be something in them.
Archives. Just as lifeless. Oh, looks like I can tidy up after myself. Sometimes.
Confidential.
A very, nature-driven case so far. I'll have to consult the encyclopedia again. Good thing Dorothy left it here. Otherwise, I would have had to run back to my place to get some. It makes sense. This would also explain the mold found in the clothes. It turns out that some of the wounds can be safely blamed on local alligators. However, we cannot blame them for the decapitation. It's not these animals we should be afraid of here. I should make some notes and start the autopsy. Ugh. And look for other traces using a magnifying glass. It doesn't look good. Evans wasn't decapitated with one cut. Several stab wounds of varying depth and circumference. Looks like an uneven bite. It's worth taking a closer look at this. Maybe there will be some remaining teeth marks. The result of an animal tearing at its body, eaten skin, soft tissues, and genitals. There are even some teeth marks, but, well, it doesn't look like an alligator. The bite is firmly incorporated into the wound. A photo alone won't help me here. I need to make a cast and compare it.
Jesus.
Evan's right side must have been more attractive to the crocs and insects. Very strong binding marks.
On his left.
You can see peeled epidermis and small wounds. The imprints are quite deep even. From the looks of it, I'd say Evans was restrained with his own belt. Mississippi alligator. It's strange that an alligator would leave such a clear and smooth mark.
True. Without rolling.
It looks like the killer might have missed before they finally hit the neck. There's no end to playing zoologist today.
Can't give me like the normal thing.
I need a tool with dental impression cement. Can I find it here? No. It's probably lying somewhere around in the lab. I hope the cement hasn't expired.
Did I hear that?
A month after the due date. That could be worse.
Could be.
Now I need to cover the bite area. Wait until it hardens. I think it's ready. The cast looks quite contaminated from the other wounds in that area. Well, let's hope the imprint turns out better. Brush, ink, and paper. Similar to taking fingerprints. Paint over the area. And put a piece of paper on it. That's very strange. I'll run it through the facts and check it on the computer. I really don't want to believe what I'm seeing. Loading. What? Wow. This is, well, this is quite unexpected. Human teeth. Oh, fuck. I need to tell this to Stephen. Loading. It'll probably take a while. Maybe not everything is cataloged correctly. Loading.
That one. It's that one.
It'll probably take a while. Loading. It'll probably take a while. Finally. What? The partial impression I have may match several people. Okay, this one is in prison, so he's out. Another in prison. No, here's someone with quite interesting tendencies. Oh, he's dead. It doesn't fit. This one doesn't either. I'm afraid this will remain a mystery. The killer's profile is getting more and more interesting.
The flicker was no laugh. Alright.
I'm going back to the body. I need to make a note before I start the dissection. You can see that the tool used was sharp and smooth. So, what if it was in the hands of an unskilled person? They look quite shallow. Someone must have inflicted these with some sort of primitive tool. This wound turned out to be more troublesome than I thought it would be. Maybe something chased that alligator away before it bit down properly? Torn tissue, lacerations, bite wounds. For obvious reasons, I record decapitation as the cause of death. I need to verify how deep these wounds go. If they punctured the organs, hemorrhaging could have occurred. The abdominal and genital area are supplied with plenty of blood. If the penis was bitten off while he was alive, Evans could have bled to death. Alligators rarely kill humans. The perfect breeding ground for larvae. Fortunately, the deceased doesn't care about it, just like we do now. Due to the body fat of the deceased, I'm adding a heart attack to the list. Maybe Evans didn't live long enough to experience what happened to him. Man. I was hoping for an easier case.
Nah, you'll get another fit.
Time for internal analysis. Finally. First of all, I'll try to with the scalpel. I'll open the deceased's chest.
Ooh,
I cut deep, in a straight line, avoiding the navel. We see a lot of fat tissue under the skin. When I remove the ribs, I expect to see even more fat on... correct. High levels of internal fat. Or the deceased smoked cigarettes. And this is the culprit. Well, it didn't look like the holes were that deep. Such hemorrhage could have been caused by hitting the chest with a blunt object, or a puncture directly affecting the organ. They appear to be of different depths. The cross-section is uneven. Open pneumothorax should be added to this. The deceased could have experienced extreme hypoxia, and as a result, obstructive shock.
I love one graphics, and like it's still a simulator. Like you're still getting that intriguing autopsy.
I wonder what the heart looks like. The organ is enlarged with very clear light, but similarly to the lungs, there is a trace of puncture with a sharp object. In pneumothorax, the heart rate increases. In the event of such a wound, this would mean bleeding out faster and more. In turn, a sudden increase in the amount of fluid in the pericardial cavity could lead to cardiac tamponade, which is also a life-threatening condition. Evans, however, is remarkably clean, considering this turn of events. This all looks quite disturbing. The organ is fatty and enlarged. The beginnings of cirrhosis are obvious. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
This time, nothing to write home about.
Really science.
So, I proceed to carefully remove the stomach. Like most other organs, it is fatty and clearly enlarged, not to mention swollen, partially due to gases, but mainly due to the deceased's lifestyle. I take the organ to the cutting board. If the outside is intact, I'm going to check the contents.
Alright.
It sounds like there's an unusually large amount of undigested, and now rotten stomach contents inside. Blood. Evans had to swallow it due to his injuries, which means he was still alive when he was brutally wounded in the chest.
So somebody murdered him. Murder.
Only the trachea left to be examined. Surprisingly, it's not damaged by the decapitation. I move on to cutting it open.
We was just over. I picked it up before we even walked over there.
Okay. I carefully cut, and... blood, just as I expected. Evans not only swallowed it, but also choked on it. Looks like I can wrap this up.
With what?
Let me tie this together. After he was abducted, stripped, and tied up, he was dealt several penetrating blows to the chest. Then his head was cut off. Evans was deprived of his genitals, and the body served as an easy meal for the animals. Even though there are a lot of injuries on the body that could cause death, it was the decapitation that ended Evans' life. The animal bites on the limbs occurred after death, so there's no reason to treat these as the cause of death. The damage to the lungs and heart must have led to severe hemorrhaging, so there's no doubt that Evans was choking in bloody convulsions, but it didn't last too long, which I conclude from the small amount of blood in the stomach and trachea. I never thought I'd ever wish someone to have a heart attack, but in this case, it would have been better for him. In some way, it can be said with certainty that James Evans was murdered. Oh well. I need to stitch this poor guy back up. It's really bothering me. Something's not right here. Because even now, the organs are relatively clean. The skin around wounds also, it's like, someone pumped it out? Christ. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'll leave these questions for the police to solve. And now, I get to head home. It's a fucked up thing. I'll hold off taking long walks in the forest for the near future. I have a feeling that it won't end with just one body. Good night, Mr. Ridley. The body's ready to be picked up.
Sure. Good night.
That boy always.
I think it's the first time in a long time that I finished work at a decent hour. Oh, come on. Fuck! When did I get a flat tire? What the fuck? Oh, come on. This is impossible. What's this supposed to mean? Why is this happening? Oh, someone is messing with me again. Oh.
Well, we all... Huh?
Fuck. I'm going to Ridley's. Maybe he saw something. Ridley, do you know what happened to my car?
Oh, what happened to your car?
All the tires are fucking flat!
Well, it happens. Don't you have a spare in the trunk?
Spare ones in the trunk. No one carries 4 fucking extra tires. In the trunk!
Jesus, Handman, calm down. I'll call you a taxi.
Calm down? That's a bit of an exaggeration, don't you think? Have you seen anyone around here? Someone strange? Suspicious?
Except you? No.
Haha, funny. I don't find all these jokes amusing, you know.
What jokes? Handman, what's wrong with you? It's just tires.
Such things are not a coincidence! What's wrong with me? Things keep happening. Last week, and now this?
Just go wait for the taxi, okay? Fresh air would do you good. Neither you nor I will do anything about it now.
Neither you nor I will do anything? What have you been doing all day? Surely something like this can't just be overlooked.
Maybe you should go outside and cool down. I'm calling a taxi.
Cool down. I just want to sleep.
Oof. Outside. Terrible place. Terrible place to take a nappy nap. So yeah, y'all, that was chapter 3. Y'all only missed 2 chapters. Don't hold it against me.
It would be easier just to move in and live here. I doubt I'll get reimbursed for the cab. Huh? Hello? Damn. It's already late. Good evening. Any news for me? About my car? You know, the flat tires?
No.
No what? Have you checked the cameras? Anything?
Handman, I cut my teeth working in prison. I know what to do.
What?
There were no strangers hanging around. Maybe you ran over something.
What? All the tires?
Why, possibly. You can congratulate yourself.
Christ.
You should try sleeping more. You've been kind of out of it lately.
That's the first bit of sense you've made all evening.
Good. The body is expected to be ready for pickup tonight, along with your lecture.
What? What? No, what?
You still pontificating? Best hurry, don't you think?
Fuck me. I don't have the strength for this today. Have I taken my pills today? Did I take it? Or, one more won't hurt. I need to focus. Fuck. I don't have much time. Okay. One by one, Jack. Take it easy. Oh, a burning issue indeed. Then I'll move on to the body. Ah, shit. The lecture. I almost forgot. I'm gonna need the camcorder. This is making me nervous.
Weirdo.
Oh well. This is not the best framing. Hello, everyone. It's the 20... something of November 1991. Jack Hammond is conducting the autopsy. Oh, I appear to be missing my gloves and apron.
We slipping.
Yes, you already know the drill. So, the body is on the slab. Let's see what the police uncovered first. So, the victim is from yesterday's apartment block fire on Drowner Street. Personal details. The exact cause of the fire has not yet been determined. However, it is known that the fire started in the deceased's apartment, where the most damage was reported. The body was not found until the next morning. The tent was naked, charred, and with severe burns. The owner of the apartment asked about the deceased. He was surprised anyone even lived there. The deceased was sitting in an armchair near the TV. Pieces of pornographic material, an ashtray, melted video cassettes, and several bottles of so-called poppers were found in the vicinity. It's difficult to assess whether any escape attempts were made. Firefighters indicated that it was probably the large quantity of poppers found near the deceased and rapid spread of the fire. Well, that's our basic question. Whether the death occurred as a result of fire, or whether he was dead before it. As you can see, the body is in quite an unusual pose. For the purpose of photographic documentation, we'll leave it like that for now.
There, he was tied up.
This position is called the pugilistic attitude. This is due to the influence of high temperature on the muscles. The fire reaches the skin first, then the soft tissue, until the skeletal muscles are exposed. Coagulation occurs in exposed muscles due to their fibers shrinking. The extensors yield to the force of the flexors. The muscles contract and contract until the limbs become flexy and deformed. The upper ones are characterized by a triple bend, similar to a boxer holding his hands in front of him.
We're taking pictures of the legs that he's talking about.
Just 10 minutes will do it. 10 minutes for the muscles and tendons to contract. Like a steak on the grill.
This person's tied up.
In the end, we're all just walking meat.
Ooh, this is getting rough.
The deceased must now be straightened out, and we need to get rid of these bindings. He looks to have been tied up in a rather unusual way. The deceased's neck and feet were most likely secured to his hands, which explains why, despite the severe burns, the deceased's limbs are not all that twisted. That's better. It's easier to straighten him now. Without taking out the magnifying glass, we already know that the deceased's skin is heavily charred and cracked. As for the other details, there are crow's feet visible near the eyes. Upper lip reveals front teeth. One of the incisors is broken. There's soot in the nostrils.
So he was still alive when the fire happened.
The rope around the neck wasn't very tight. I don't see it leaving a mark on the skin. You can clearly see that this is primarily the front of the deceased that was exposed to fire. The victim sat in the chair the whole time, hence his back being in much better condition than this extremely burned area. The rope marks around the wrists are deep and clearly visible. Looks as if a large flap of skin had detached from the calf. The rope at the man's ankles was tied much tighter and more precisely than the one around his wrists. All in all, quite a lot can be deduced from this external examination. Traces failed to indicate that the deceased suffocated before the fire took hold. Oh, that must have been terrifying. Severe burns, covering approximately 80% of the epidermis. Predominance of 4th and 3rd degree burns. He appears to be loosely tied. However, this is the result of the corpse drying out. The wound shows that the rope had deeply imprinted itself, and the length of the rope was calculated, and appears that the deceased could make limited movements around the perineum. The burns reach through the dermis and hypodermis to reach the muscles. The body is covered in numerous areas. The eye clenching is a natural reaction of the body to high temperatures. The tissue of the mouth was heavily burned as well. The teeth, however, makes me wonder. Soot in the nose appears. It looks like the deceased was a fan of choking while masturbating. Deaths due to a predilection for asphyxiophilia do occur, but not in this case. The extent of the thermal stresses on the body could have caused this death. Burns to the genitals and groin are an additional concussive factor. Wounds on the wrists and ankles indicate that the deceased could have been struggling in panic. The mixture of fear, sexual arousal, and drugs could have caused a heart attack. In this case, I don't assume that it may seem incidental, but for us it's a sign that the deceased was most certainly conscious. Perhaps the deceased lost a tooth, attempting to bite through the rope. We need to check the damage inhaling all that smoke has done to the respiratory tract. I will assess the extent of possible poisoning and burning in a moment. First, I'll try to establish the victim's identity. Due to the amount of charring, we are unable to collect the victim's fingerprints. Visual identification is also out of the question. You can probably guess what options we are left with. You guessed it, a dental impression. For this, I need impression trays and alkanate material. Please excuse me for a moment. What I need should be somewhere in the lab. Okay, it's going well. I should be able to get this done, maybe in this drawer. Oh, I'll warm this up in my hands. Okay, making an impression is quite simple. You put trays with alkanate into the... Once the devices have been placed... Okay, again, We will need a piece of paper, a brush, and ink. We will make a plaster model of the deceased's teeth from the obtained impression. We will then make an impression of the mold on a piece of paper, which will be scanned into the computer. You see, it seems so simple, and yet laborious. On the plus side, we don't have to worry about the gag reflex with the deceased. And no need to remind the subject to breathe either. At least he saved the high costs of orthodontic treatment.
Let it smell. No, you can't make it go forever.
Wow. Who would have expected a match so soon? Well, the deceased is Richard Jacobson, 47 years old. He had a criminal record and was recently in court for... Oh, wow. For not returning a videotape to the rental shop. Oh, Jesus. I better check if I've still got that copy of... where were we?
It's the teeth from last time. That was the one dude that... that wasn't incarcerated.
Okay, I'll add some details to the clipboard. Okay, and we can move on to dissecting the body. This time, I'll go straight for the loppers. I'll slice it piece by piece. Let me start here. I push hard several times. Until I cut a given section. You can see that using a scalpel would be pointless here. Solid crunch. Almost there. Now we peel back the skin. Now to remove the ribs, and we can check out what's going on in here. And I see that a lot has happened. In fact, the entire abdominal cavity is flooded. Blood and other fluids have seeped from the blood vessels, flooding the abdomen and chest areas. We have to get rid of this. I'll go get a cup or a ladle.
He made soup. It's a serial killer.
I think I saw one somewhere here. Aha. I don't have all night. I'm going to need a vacuum pump. Great. The running around for everything starts again. Why can't things be tidied away properly in this damn mortuary? I'm gonna get Ridley. I wonder what this pump is. Mr. Ridley? Mr. Ridley? I'll just go to the basement and check.
Oh.
Jeez. I don't know what the for. Rusty. Scrap! God! Where is this infernal machine? Wow, that's heavy. Can I fit through the door with this? I I swear I'm going to have an accident here one day. Like Alice, when she twisted her ankle on those stairs. We were supposed to go to the mountains then. It was supposed to be our first trip since... and Alice...
Hammond!
Because of me, as always, she had to...
Hammond, are you talking to yourself or what?
Huh? What? No, I just...
There is a letter for you. I left it on your desk.
Letter? For me?
Yeah?
A letter? Fuck! Who delivers letters at this time? It's probably been sat in his office for ages. Just didn't want to move his lazy ass.
I don't see it.
So, we have the equipment. Now I have to place it somewhere close to the table. Phew. I can finally put this thing down. Alright, just... What? There's no tube? No one's used this for a long time. I apologize to you all once again.
Alright, now he put the letter on my desk. What's he said?
Aha. 3649. Okay. 3649. 3649. 3749. These lockers could contain... screw it. There might be something in here. Yep. I'm sure I wrote the code down on a piece of paper. And my memory for numbers. What do we have here? Boxes of disinfectants, syringes, thread. Oh, some small trinkets. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should antiseptics. What about here? I wanted to forget. Alice. I regret so much. Every day. Every fucking day.
There's something open to the left.
I can't. I can't take it anymore. Oh, God. I can't. Phone. Oh. Do not think. Just don't think. Office of the Medical Examiner, Peatsville.
Oh, Jack. I was hoping to catch you at work.
Hi, Dorothy. How's it going?
Good, thanks. And what about you? You sound tired.
Tiring day, work, that's it.
You scared me last time we spoke.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to cause any trouble, and say what I said.
Jack, it's alright. You're not causing any trouble. I'm not surprised at all that.
No, really. I mean it. Sorry. I just... I'm fed up with myself.
You should take care of yourself. Didn't you say you wanted to stay at home longer? To rest? You know I pick up the slack at work.
No, I didn't. I can't. I don't want to be there.
Well, why not consider taking a trip, Jack?
Dorothy, please. I really don't have the energy for this today.
No, I just wish.
Stop it. Why are you calling?
Reminder about annual drug testing. I figured you probably didn't remember.
Oh, yes. I've, had a lot going on. I, even forgot my own birthday.
Leave your samples at reception on your way home. Someone will pick them up from Ridley in the morning. Probably Steven or someone else at the station.
Sure. I'll try not to forget. Okay, well,
Jack?
Hmm?
Try not to do anything stupid, okay? Alcohol, your medication. You know you shouldn't.
I have it all under control. I should be getting back to work.
The results should be in tomorrow. I'll call you when we know.
Right, thanks.
Goodbye, Jack.
Bye. Annual drug testing. I'll take care of it before I go home. I feel terribly weak. There's been a bit too much going on lately.
It's the second time I took my pills in like 30 minutes.
I was supposed to collect the hose. Focus on your work, Jack. All right.
Yep.
Here I am. I hope that was the last long break in this session. So, let's connect the tube. We turn on the machine. With this amount of fluid, there's no point in holding back. Still a few nooks and crannies left. External examinations did not reveal any tissue defects that would reach the internal organs. So I expect the organs to be intact. In a way, it's quite extraordinary that even with such severe burns, skin, fat, muscles, peritoneal fascia, they can keep the insides intact. The organs are all present and correct. A reddish-pink tint indicates high carboxyhemoglobin levels, the level of which I will determine from a sample of blood. I will be inserting needles into the heart and femoral artery.
Oops.
What interests me here is not the presence of this substance itself, but rather its percentage content in the sample. But first, I'll need the values for the centrifuge.
Off once again. To grab the notebook I need for...
I feel like I've been here forever.
I feel like I closed that door.
Jack, focus. Just a little bit longer. Corpses recovered from the site of fire may have very different and complex histories. Burning is only at the surface. Underneath, it may be a heart attack, stroke, or pulmonary embolism. This particular case appears quite basic.
That's blood alcohols, barbiturates, this bad tone. 10 minutes at 85.
However, I would warn against making a diagnosis too hastily. A fire victim does not always mean death due to smoke inhalation. centrifuge has completed its cycle. So, as usual, I will take the samples to the laboratory, and I'll be back with the results shortly. Ugh. What exactly was I supposed to test for? COHB. Ugh. I'll take 2 milliliters of each sample.
Yep.
Ugh. Well, confirmed. Death due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Carboxyhemoglobin levels at 84%. Alright, I'll note this down and perform a check of the organs.
Alright. Oh. Oh, that's not alright.
What? Where? Mr. Ridley? Why did he take that fucking body? Why did you take the body?
What body?
Well, the body. You know, from the autopsy room.
Christ, Hammond, I didn't take any of your bodies.
So who took it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I...
Get back to work. It's late.
What's wrong with me? Something strange is happening here. Maybe I think I'm just tired. I don't understand what's going on. I think there's... I must have been seeing things. Results. Well, then we can... from the results... we can now be sure that the carboxyhemoglobin concentration was fatal. I think I should inspect the heart. The organ has a reddish-pink tint, which results from the concentration of COHB and general congestion of the organ. Other than that, I can cross this off my list now. We will look at the lungs more carefully. From the outside, just like the heart, it is congested, and the color indicates poisoning. Thermal damage is visible here and there. Enough of the external exam. It's time to grab the knife and dissect the lungs. I need to check for any obstruction, burns, or clots. Jesus. Alright. You can see changes in the lung parenchyma caused by burns and smoke inhalation. Nothing new here.
Good old nice cut of steak.
So let's complete the notes. And let's check the trachea. The color is the same as the rest of the organs. Significant congestion. Let's see what it looks like inside. Okay, the final cut. There are visible burns inside, but what catches the eye the most is the amount of soot. Looks like our subject was in the thick of the fire. Let's deal with the final notes, and we're ready to go. Let's deal with the final notes, and we're ready to go. I considered the direct cause of death to be severe carbon monoxide poisoning, leading to extreme hypoxia of the body. The extreme burns on the deceased's body and respiratory tract indicate that he must have been surrounded by fire. During the examination, no other factors were found that could have contributed to the victim's death. Environmental data does not indicate any third-party involvement. Just need to add my John Hancock and sew up the body.
Dang.
I'll close the body, trying not to damage what's left of the skin. As for stitching, well, it varies. It can be that the fire victims are in such a condition that there is nothing left to stitch. So for this job, a thicker needle and heavy-duty thread. Well, everything's holding together. Keeping it together is invaluable in this line of work. Well, after storing the body, there's nothing left for me to do. But thank you for your attention. All the best, and good night. Ugh, my God. What an exhausting day. I need to get these gloves off and call a taxi. I swear I'm about to pass out from exhaustion. Oh, fuck. Urine sample. Oh, no. Okay, this is it.
Get my little pee sample.
Dehydrated. I should drink more water.
This game actually looks pretty good. Actually looks pretty good. The storyline seemed pretty decent. I'm still lost, but I think he's a schizophrenic.
As expected, sleeping like a log.
First time I've seen him
Jealous.
without. Why is his eyes wide open? Sleeping like a log, but his eyes wide open.
Ugh.
Oh, back up.
Fuck. What's going on here?
Hurricane Taxi, we will take you wherever the wind takes you.
Hello. I would, like to order a taxi to 574 Presley Street.
Okay, hun. the drivers are busy at the moment. Best I can do is within the next hour.
An hour? Oh, no. Alright. Let it be.
Can I take your name?
Jack Hanman.
Okay, thank you. Do you have our loyalty card?
No.
Would you like to set one up? For regular customers, we have discounts and extra...
Would that make the taxi get here faster?
Well...
I thought so. Thank you. Goodbye. This is already giving me a headache. Ah, Jesus, what now?
I don't want to... I keep closing that door. I don't want to go again.
Yes, how can I help you?
Jack, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Oh my God! What was that? What the fuck? This was some kind of mistake. An hour here. I need a drink. Oh, strong.
Those nasty dogs.
Everything's spinning.
Oh, hell. Alright, everybody, that's where we're going to conclude the live stream. Thank y'all for watching. This is Autopsy Simulator. Alright, there's going to be more of this coming. We're going to get the rest of Son of Saga uploaded. And then probably play a round or two of Buckshot Roulette. Just to pass time. But everybody, be safe. It's OG King Gaming, and y'all take care.